How far are you willing to go? The drive, the sweat, the blood, the tears, your determination through the pain and all the suffering, people overlooking you, telling you that you're not good enough. You have to believe that you're great. And with you believing that you're great, anything you want to do, you can achieve. No one can stop you. Only you can stop yourself. Keep driving. Keep uplifting yourself. Keep going. Keep going. Nothing, and no one can stop you. That goal you want, you can achieve it. How you inspire people is going to be up to you. Keep going. Never give up. Never give up. Keep going. Never give up.
What's going on? What's going on? It's your boy, Connie. And we here on 910 Sports TV once again. First and foremost, I want to thank God for this opportunity, because without him, it would be no us in this platform. So I'm just going to introduce everybody from top to bottom. You know what I'm saying? I got my man, the great, impeccable, you know what I'm saying, traveling all over the world this last week like he was on some Barack Obama campaign or something. Coach Lamont T. Goins, what's going on, fam?
Hey, you know what? I'm glad to be out today and glad to be on with you gentlemen tonight. So I'm ready to roll.
Okay, and at the bottom of the screen, well, you know what I'm saying, we got Mr. Diva himself tonight. He come on here wanting to yell at me and stuff and everything. I don't know, on his I guess on his black Skip Bayless or something. I don't know what he got going on. But we got, got your baby mama favorite host, Cowboys biggest fan, Jacob the Great. What's up, family? I
Man, what up,
guess.
man? What up, man? Glad to be in the land of the living. So what's up? What's up?
What's going on? What's going on? So, man, I'm going to introduce your brother. You know what I'm saying? Because I know there's like one of the other brothers from another mother. So I'm going to let you introduce your man tonight, and then we get this interview cracking.
Well, tonight we have none other than Coach Donald Kincaid, man. Donald Kincaid is a man of many hats, man. Former police officer, former celebrity bodyguard, children's author. He stands tall against bullying, and he's also started a privatized JUCO, football program league, and he's building teams all across the nation, man, all across the nation, and giving people a chance to stand in that position to become a coach that wouldn't have maybe even touched, the collegiate field. So, none other than Donald Kincaid. What's up, my man?
Hey man, what's going on? How y'all doing tonight?
Good, good,
Good,
good.
good, 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 man. So let's get into we're not gonna get into the football stuff yet. Let's get into, because it's very important to me when I see somebody that's a former police officer, and I want to know why they became an officer. And during that time, what are some of the things that you've seen?
As a police officer, I've seen it all, man.
Okay, okay.
I mean, wow. From I'll tell you one quick story. I had a friend of mine that was I don't want. Wait a minute. Let me back up because I don't know who's watching. So, let's just say I had the keys to this particular apartment complex that I was a courtesy officer at, and I had this friend. She called me and said, "I need help," and I'm like, "What do you mean?" And then all of a sudden, I just heard yelling in the background, and all I heard was tumbling and rumbling, and I said, "Oh Lord!" So I ran over. I knew exactly what apartment I had. Like I said, I had the key, so I took the key, went in, and I'm seeing this dude just wailing on her, bam, bam, bam. She on her knees, and he beating her face like hamburger meat.
Wow.
So the only thing I could do, I mean, and see, that's one of my weak spots right there. I ended up throwing them through a window, and I got charged with um, excessive force and stuff like that. But I mean, it didn't go through or anything. But I got put on probation and desk duty and all of the above and all that good stuff. But I can't stand a man that beats a woman, brothers. I can't stand it. I can't stand it. We will have some words, and I get very physical and angry, and I ain't no small man, so you know, um, you know, but so that's one of the things that I saw. Um, so many different things as a cop, but I'm gonna tell you one of the biggest things is coming in contact with youth and figuring out how I can assist them. I was always the type of officer that I wasn't quick to put handcuffs on you. I wasn't quick to try to throw you in jail. I try to assess the situation. I mean, I've actually had, I was a police officer in a couple of small different towns. I was in the city of Prosperity, and I was in the city of Eastover, two small little towns. But everybody know everybody in them little small towns and everything. I would see somebody, and I'm like, I know he ain't got no license. So I get behind him and everything and stop him and have a conversation. I know where he going. He going straight to work. So I tell him, look, man, give me them keys. Call your mama. He called his mama. Mama come out. I told mama, come get the car. And I took him on down to Georgia Pacific. Took him to work. You know what I'm saying? Now,
Right.
those were some of the things, but a lot of officers these days, I mean, boy, we could get into a whole, that maybe y'all need to bring me back on a podcast for another time for them
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
stories.
So, Coach, the reason why I asked you that because being an officer stemmed you to really saving the youth, um, to really starting your JUCO collegiate program. Because as me and you discussed before, that you got tired of hearing these heartbroken stories, and you asked why they ain't playing ball, and you said they say, well, wouldn't nobody give me a shot? The coaches ain't look out for me, and my parents just don't know how to get in contact with different schools and stuff like that, and so
Right.
from you being a police officer to you starting this JUCO program, man. Talk about, what encouraged you to start the JUCO program.
Well, as you said, I came in contact with a lot of young men that I used to watch, and I saw where they were destined for greatness. I mean, I just knew that they were going to go to a Division I or Division II school and move on from there. Probably go NFL or wherever they decided they wanted to go.
Mhm.
But a couple of things got in their way. Number one, grades got in their way, and number two, after the grades got in their way, they start to lose hope. They started losing the dream, and they just got to the point of, oh well, whatever it is, what it is. I got to accept reality, and then they let the streets accept it. They fall prey to the street, and that's happens to a lot of them when society shuns a lot of these kids from uh, 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 from the societal ways, meaning, you know, you got to have a certain height and weight, you got to have a certain GPA, you got to have a certain, and when they find out that a lot of these colleges are not going to give them a call, they go into despair. They go into a uh, a level. of what I call a point of no return. And I said, man, I got to do something about this. So I created an organization that, and I quote unquote privatized collegiate athletics program. We do football and basketball and getting ready to start into soccer and a couple of other different sports. But I have a partnership agreement with a regionally accredited university where I bring these boys in. I get them help them with the FAFSA and all of that good stuff. Get them connected with the school. They get plugged in. They do online classes, 100% online, while they're playing football and basketball with us. Now, while I have them and I have their attention, we're not just conducting sports. We're doing life skills. I have spiritual mentors trying to help these young men get on the right path, and these different things. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, I use the sports as what I call the dangling carrot. I know they want to play sports. A lot of them don't want to go to school, but they do want to play sports. My goal is to ensure that they get some type of degree under their belt, because we already, and you understand what I mean, we already behind the 8 ball. So I want to make sure that these young men get a degree under their belt, and I use my platform to do so. Now, if I have some kids that are D1 material or Division II or NAIA or whatever, we will do whatever we need to do to help them get to where they need to go. But my first and foremost platform is to ensure that these kids get a good education, and we put them on a path that we know they will be able to be self-sustaining, independent, and get away from the negative stereotype that, of course, society labels them.
Okay, Coach Bowens, over to you, sir.
Hey, I appreciate it. So again, good evening, Coach, and just appreciate the taking us down the road with law enforcement, and appreciate your service and the dedication of the citizens that you serve, and
Thank you,
also
sir.
just so excited to hear about what you're doing, in your current venture, taking those young men. And then number one, developing and molding. But I love that comment, and I use this where I've used this in my past. Well, a lot of times people go fishing, but they ain't got no bait on the line, right? You
Right.
ain't got no but old rusty hook down in the water. You think somebody gonna swim by and nibble on it? So
Exactly.
hats off for dangling that carrot. So here's where I want to go with that. So in that in your vision, you saw that. So vision, and then it takes the dream. It takes a teamwork to make the dream work. So I want you to tell our viewing audience, behind the scenes, talk about the day in the life of Coach, what you do on, you get there. How can the citizens come alongside you and assist you in what your efforts are doing currently?
And I hope this don't come off to be real harsh, because I just had this conversation earlier today. But I get a lot of people that always are talking,
Mm,
always are saying, well, you know what you need to do?
mm,
Or, you know, I need people to start stepping up and showing out.
there you go.
Okay. I need people to start coming, saying, hey, here I am. What you need me to do? Okay. Because see, basically what I do, I try to pair every last one of my student athletes with at least one mentor, and I tell that mentor, I need you to stay with this kid for the entirety of his stay at our program and after.
Mm,
So
excellent.
this is a lifetime commitment. I'm looking for lifetime commitment folks. I'm looking for people that want to step. Everybody got so much to say on, people be talking about how the parents need to get more rearing. They need more training, and they need to know where their kids at and all this kind of stuff. And everybody got all the say so, but never the step up.
Mm.
So that's what if the day in life, I'm tired of hearing people talk. Come on over. You have all the solutions. Come on over and give me some help. I got plenty sites. I have 8 different locations
Wow.
from
Wow.
Florida to Virginia.
Wow. All right. So yeah.
So,
So I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Coach.
oh no, go right ahead. Yep.
So here's the and I use this coin phrase and I didn't develop so you can steal it shamelessly. The video ain't the audio ain't matching up to people's video, right? So I want to take my few seconds and challenge the people and coaches. He's stepping out. He's putting everything, his heart and soul into this. So Jacob, do me a favor, shoot Coach my information. Since and I'm in Virginia. So if I can, and
Okay.
if I can call a kid, once or twice a week, I can do that on my ride home or carve out some time. So right here on the 910 Sports, our video is gonna match our audio. So going forward, if there's anything I can do for you, I'm just a phone call away. So I kick it over to Icon E.
Okay. Okay.
It's funny because going back to the cop thing real quick, I got a quick story for y'all. So I got a buddy of mine. I went to school with him since elementary school, and he used to be a cop in Greensboro. And we was talking last week, and he was like, I said, man, I know you used to be a cop in Greensboro. And he like, well, I said, well, how was that? He said, man, it was real racist and political. And I said, oh, really? He said, yeah. He said it was so racist out there because they would always pull us over for the stupidest stuff and racially profile us. And he said, so I started going to the white neighborhoods and doing it to them. And boy, I said, boy, I know I've been knowing you since kindergarten. I said, I know. I said, I can see you doing that all day long. So, he said they got so mad with me or whatever because I used to go over their neighborhoods and I'm telling you, I used to go into the suburbs and just pull them over for no reason just because they were doing it. You know what I mean? So that was a quick story. I thought about that when you were telling your story, but that was a funny thing. But anyway, Coach, getting back to the sports thing. So Jake. So when you first started coming on here, you was about as local as you could get, and you done balloon this thing out all the way to say up and down the whole East Coast. For the most part, and from what Jacob was telling me, you trying to take this thing nationally at some point.
At
So
some point.
yeah. So the thing about it is so and I'm almost like Coach Goins now. I'm gonna use one of them old school phrases. One man's trash is another man's treasure. So as far as this
Man.
NIL program and in the transfer program, everybody think it's sweet. But what we was told on one of our other episodes is that a lot of these players end up without a home. So how many of these players kind of like end up kind of falling in your lap by a blessing because because they couldn't get switch schools to or whatever, and they couldn't go where they wanted to, and all of a sudden they was out of scholarships, and then because when I said it was like 4,000 kids going to the portal, but it's on like 1,500 openings. So how many of these kids actually fell in your lap?
Well, I get a lot of calls, and even more now since the portal,
Mm-hmm.
because and we all sports guys here, so we all know because of the portal, a lot of these high school students don't even get no type of opportunity at all.
That's
Why,
true.
as a college coach, I can go into the portal and get a seasoned junior, a seasoned senior, a seasoned sophomore over somebody coming straight out of high school. It's a no-brainer, you know. So the portal is killing these high school
It
students.
it is, man.
You got to be almost one of the greatest of all. You got to be a goat coming out of high school in
Mm.
order to get noticed now.
Yep.
Like let me say this. Um, Me and Icon had my cousin on here, Coach Adams, and he had a young man on his team that rushed for about 4,700 yards in high school senior.
Hmm.
And Icon said, "What? Man, he ain't get no Division 1 looks or no. He was like, man, listen, man. He said that Porter, man. So he ended up getting a full ride to Georgia State. But I told my cousin, I said, man, if it wasn't for that portal, man, he would, because he got like a 3.9 grade average. So he would have been somewhere like a Virginia Tech or Notre Dame or Boston College. But I said, thanks to that portal, man, like he he rushed for 4,700 yards, man.
Mm.
And prior to his senior year, he was definitely rushing for over 2,500 yards, 2,700 yards. But you know, his senior year was his biggest year. But man, he like you said, coach, like you said, Icon, that puller calls. I call Icon at the end of collegiate basketball season. I said, Icon, there's 4,100 young men hitting the portal, and there's 3,300 young ladies in the transfer portal. Icon said, what? I said, man, listen, man. You know, I get the newsletters all the time, man. So and I'm like, you know, you got 4,100 young men in the portal, and you got 3,300 young ladies in the portal. Like that means that you ain't even get a school a chance at all. It's like it's my way or the highway. You know what I mean? But I come back to you, man.
Yeah, because and the thing about this, Coach Kingcade, and Coach Goins and can attest to this too, because Coach Goins been with us about maybe 2 months now. We've probably had maybe 4 or 5 different athletes on here. And you'll be shocked the players we get on here who in high school then broke all kind of records. I'm talking
Mm-hmm.
about rushing or the basketball players, the leader scorer of the team, like an all-time leader scorer. But when they left the high school, and they ended up at these smaller schools. Now, kudos to the kids not to get frustrated and go into these smaller schools, but you know, coach, you know why we created this show. We created this show because of kids in these programs who can't get to those, didn't go to those bigger schools. So we created this show for them to be able to have a platform to be able to tell their story. But it's ridiculous to me, like you said. Now that the transfer portal and the NIL and all that game into play, these kids don't have no chance. Dang near the ones that was at these smaller schools. You know,
Right.
so yeah, so how many teams do you have now up and down the East Coast?
Well, right now we're in our early phases of 8 teams, and what I mean by that, some of the teams are not active at the moment. We're in the building phase. Um, just to give a quick run, I have a functional basketball team in Greenville, South Carolina, called the Palmetto State Bulldogs. They're up and running right now. Also have the Greensboro, North Carolina Cavaliers. Um, um, they're up and running. I have the Florida State Coastal Cobras down in Haines City, Florida. And then I got another young man that I'm bringing aboard that's getting ready to do another program about an hour and a half away from where he is, and that's Lakeland, Florida. So we're going to have a program set up there. See, what I've done is I have created 2 separate conferences, privatized, quote unquote, privatized conferences for these young men to participate in. And in these conferences, the MASC conference, which stands for the Mid-Atlantic Southern Conference, which takes care of Florida, Georgia, Alabama, possibly Mississippi, um, in those areas. So right now, I have 2 teams in Georgia, 2 teams in Florida. So they're making up the MASC conference. Now, the COMA, which is the Conference of the Mid-Atlantic, covers South Carolina, North Carolina, and Virginia. And we'll possibly add Tennessee over there to the side. But so we have the Union County Vipers, which is in the Monroe, North Carolina, which we're moving to Charlotte. So we're moving that team to Charlotte. We got another team called the Tri-County the Tri-County Bears. They're going to be in that Chester, Rock Hill, South Carolina area. And once again, I told you about the one in Greenville and the one in Greensboro. So those 4 make up the Coma Conference. So these 4 teams will be playing those 4 teams, home and away, of course. And we just tried to set up something to have a good collegiate conference for these kids to participate in, get some game film. And along the way, we also given them an opportunity to, like I said, gain some life skills, gain some. For instance, my wife put on a credit program. Some of these kids that were in the credit class ended up being able to go to this bank. We showed them what they needed to do. We showed them how to do a secured loan. Put $250 into a little savings account. Then they borrowed $250. We told them to deposit that right back in and let it pay itself back. Some of my kids left our program with good credit. Then when they came in with no credit, just because. So those are some of the things that we're trying to show them. We're not just trying to play sports. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I have a coined phrase that I call ourselves a sports ministry.
Mm.
We are a sports ministry, and so there's between these 2 conferences, and then I have another program that I'm trying to build in that Virginia area. So Coach Goins, off air, we'll talk, and I'll explain to you how that's getting ready to go down. But a good friend of mine, T.J. Washington, former NFL player. I don't know if y'all know him. He's taking over the Vipers as my GM in the Charlotte area. And he's also from this area. Are you guys familiar with the area called Atlantic, Virginia?
Atlantic, Virginia.
No, sir.
No.
Do you
It's
know? Do you
It's
know
it,
where that's near?
it's not it's Atlanta, Virginia. It ain't but even probably maybe like 2 hours from Delaware.
See, now y'all
uh,
gonna be looking for it because I done been in every day looking credit in America.
man, it almost looked like
Oh, I
the
done been.
way they off on their own little. It's almost like a little Florida leg, right
Okay.
up under. If you see the map, you see Washington here, and then you come down just a little bit. They kind of off to the side, and it's one way in and one way out. And you got to go across this long, big metal bridge.
So it's almost like on the eastern shore side of.
East. Oh, that's the term. I'm glad you said Eastern
Yeah.
Shore.
Yeah,
This is Eastern Shore.
yeah, Maryland, like with the University of Maryland Eastern Shore
Yes,
out there.
sir.
Yes, sir. Yep.
Yes, sir.
I
Hmm.
know what you're
Yeah.
talking
Yep.
So that's the area that T.J. Washington is from. So he
Okay.
wants to build a program out there in this hometown area to give back to his community. So matter of fact, I just came from there today.
Oh wow.
I got back about an hour ago to get ready for this call. So we're getting ready to set up something big out that way.
Excellent. Excellent.
Yep. Yep.
about. Go ahead, Jacob.
All right, so, coach, you got these conferences, and you got these players, man. So how hard is it to add games from outside affiliates, from other programs outside of yours that you built your program with?
Well, it's not hard now because I'm seasoned. I've been doing this for 6 years,
Right.
and a lot of them know me now. Like Averett University, I can call him up, get a quick game. Um, um, what's the other college down there in Georgia? The Highlanders. What did
Yeah, why is that name? I know that, and I know you're talking about the Highlanders.
The
That's
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, but it's not hard at all, and especially basketball. My director of basketball operations out of Greensboro, he be playing all kind of schools, man. Greenville actually played Benedict and almost won.
Mm. Oh wow. Yeah. Because you
So
probably got a lot
Yeah.
of veteran players too on the team, huh?
yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's why.
yeah,
Yeah. Oh, they
yeah,
they
But like I said, now the thing of it is, they have to go to school.
right.
That's it. That's non-negotiable, and you got to be serious about your school. I even take kids that ain't even got a high school diploma. I bring them aboard, and I put them through what we call the Road to Recovery program.
Wow,
The Road to Recovery program is we'll bring them in, put them under our wing, accept them as our young brother, our young affiliate, while they're getting their GED or high school diploma, whichever one we're trying to help them get. Um, we'll show them the ropes, show them what we're trying to do, and once they get their high school diploma, then we'll transfer them right into our university. Now, some other kids, they might not have the 2.5 GPA that my college requires for them to have in order to come in. So they go up under the Road to Recovery program. We'll put them in a local community college for one semester.
wow,
While they're in there, we still got, like I said, we keep our hands on them. We see. I used to turn them down and let them out, let them go, but God told me no. You got to keep your hands on these kids. If you they already in the streets. You got to bring them in, and you got to figure out something for them to do. So I said, you know what, Lord, okay, I got you, I got you. So I created the Road to Recovery program. So while they're going that one semester, they'll be learning from us, doing things that they need to be doing while they're getting their grades, and we'll check in on their grades and make sure they're doing the right thing in order to come and transfer into our university. Once we get them in, now we know, okay, you did a full semester and still, so now we know you're serious, you know. So um, these are some of the things that we go beyond the call of duty to ensure that we are leaving no student athlete behind.
wow, wow,
Okay.
wow.
Go ahead, Jacob.
Okay,
Uh,
so, coach, me and you often talk about JUCO NIL and what it would look like. And I told you that I talked to I don't know a few sports agents and stuff like that, and them
Mm-hmm.
agents, and we talk about that. So what I've been told that JUCO NIL look like, there was like, well, maybe Jacob, you and the coach you will be the first to do it, because when I mentioned it before, now this is a coach that's in the I think it's in NJCCAA. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's with the regular JUCO program, not the privatized. So
Right.
he tell me, and he's out of Texas. He's out of Laredo, Texas. He told me, he said, "Well, Jacob, man, to be honest with you, man, when I bring it up to the board and whatnot, you know what I mean, and the coaching staff." They be like, man, ain't nobody gonna do nothing like that for us, man. We ain't nowhere been to Division 1. They don't even do it for Division 3. So why would they do it for us? And I told Coach, I said, see, that's that that's that mentality. I said, man, you can't have that Scooby Doo and that Shaggy mentality, man. You know what I mean? You can't have that type of mentality, man. You got to go in there, set up a substantial front, and make them understand why this is needed, because these are the future stars that's that's going to be in the college playoff games. So many people came from JUCO and played Division One and are some of our favorite players in the NFL.
Right.
So, I think that it's going to happen, but I think in order for it to happen, it's got to be done in a very kind of strategic way. And when I say strategic way, maybe you can't get it from Toyota, but you can get it from a used car dealership that's been in business for 25 years. You know what I mean? Or you can get it, or you can get some money from uh, organization, since this is a part of sports ministry, Mothers Against Drunk Drivers, and that can serve as an NIL deal, whether it's 5,000, 7,500, 10,000, or 15,000. And
Mm-hmm.
we ain't talking about no 3, 4 million, but you have to start somewhere.
Well, I have a different view about NIL.
Hmm.
Um, and to be honest with you, I don't really care about trying to get NIL deals for my young men, but I am trying to ensure that I find stability for my young
Okay.
men. And what I mean by that, and a lot of people, well, man, if you get an NIL deal, he'll have stability. No, no, I'm not trying to let money ruin them.
Okay.
At this age, money will kill them. You know what I'm saying? Now that's just my opinion, but I am trying to find these kids. Like for instance, right now, my basketball team in Greenville, they're all now outside of our university. They're all taking IT classes, and they will be certified in another 6 months. Now, guess what? They'll have a certificate in IT. You know what I'm saying? Ain't
Hmm.
that's one of the booming things going right now is IT. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying?
I Yeah.
I also have some young men that's in the referee program. So I'm trying to make sure these kids got something that they could fall back on and make some money.
Make sure they can eat.
Not
Yeah.
trying to, I ain't trying to give them no money. I'm trying to
Mm,
let you show.
mm,
What's
mm.
the phrase? I'm gonna teach the man how to
How to
fish. I ain't trying
fish.
to give him the fish.
There you go.
I'm
Yeah.
teaching them how to fish.
Yeah, go ahead, Coach. Go on.
Now,
But
now,
you, yeah, but and I'll say this. First of all, coach, is vision, right? It's vision, right? And people perish for the lack of knowledge. And again, just what you're doing, and as I sit here and listen, my mind's just running and spinning, just because people don't realize that in today's, and we just mentioned that, but everybody, the great athletes, of course, they want to go to the Division 1, here's the question: is it something that is it something that it's in your curriculum, that, or what do you think that we need to do as a society or coaches to be able to go, okay, yeah, you've got talent, but yet you won't get nibbles at the D1. What about going to a HBCU? What about going to that mid major? Because every year, those big time guys are going to call those guys at the mid major and say, who's the best player in the conference? Whether it's football, whether it's basketball, then they could go in, like we said earlier, then they could go in as a sophomore versus trying to go in as a freshman with no college experience, never been away from home. But now here they've gone to a Norfolk State, they've gone to Virginia Union or whatever they may go to
mm-hmm.
be able to get that little rust off of them, get a little maturity, have some college coaching experience, because again, it gives them opportunity. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, I agree. I agree, man. One of the biggest things that I see that we lack as a culture is, and the number one thing that I see with these young athletes is lack of guidance.
Mm.
Mhm.
Whew.
Lack of guidance. I just spoke with some young seventh, eighth graders today while I was down there in Eastern Shore. And one of the things that I told them that I wish that a lot of people would jump in and start guiding these kids is Don't wait till you get in the 12th grade to start trying to get them grades.
Mm-hmm.
It's too late.
Too late.
And I could give you 100 kids right now. I could pull out my notebook with the same sad story of how they wish they did things a whole lot differently with their academic career. You know, when they got to the senior year and really started trying to buckle down, it was too late.
Too late.
When they finally realized, when it finally hit that, oh man, I ain't getting no offers, and the reason why is because my grades, and it ain't nothing I can do about it.
Nothing.
Do you know how helpless these kids feel at that point? That's why a lot of them. That's why the open arms of the streets feel so embracing. They run to them streets. They run to them streets, and them streets say, "Come on, I got you, brother." They don't love you over there. I got you over here. That's what I'm trying. That's what I'm trying to stop. So I said, you know what? Since the traditional way
Yep.
is not accepting you, come over to my non-traditional way that I've created for you. Because I'm one of the big ones that have this other phrase. So we big on phrases tonight. I don't care about eating at your table. I create my own.
Woo.
Oh, oh. And so,
And I'm pissing a lot of people off with this
That's all right.
monetized
You are, you are,
collegiate
because
athletics.
I have to defend you. You know what I mean? I all the time, all the time. But my defending is a little bit different from other people defending. So you know what I mean?
But
Why?
I get a lot of people that call me scams, and man, you giving these kids false hopes and dreams, and I come around and ask them, well, what are you giving them?
There you go.
Yeah.
You
Yep.
know,
Yep.
I'm not giving them false hopes and dreams because I don't promise them anything. I don't promise them a Division 1 scholarship or anything like that. I tell them the only thing that I can promise you, if you listen to me and if you remain humble and coachable and you stay ready for the academic challenge, I'll make sure you get a degree under your belt,
Mm-hmm.
and you will leave us with those life skills that's needed to survive in today's society.
That's awesome. That's great work. That's a
and I'll
great work.
say this to you, Coach, and me and Jacob talk about this all the time, is that we have these conversations with people that's giving us opportunities with channels and networks and all kind of stuff. And the one thing that we talk about is being able to get to a point where we can cover your games. Like we can be the
Oh wow, okay,
the flagship, network or whatever channel where we come out to all these games and cover the games,
that'd be
you know,
beautiful.
analyze it, analysts being analysts or this or interviewing the kids, whatever we can fit in to blow this thing all the way out. You know what I mean? So like you said, everything about it gonna look like the big dogs. You know what I mean? It ain't just what I mean. So that's one of the things that we making. I'm saying right now, like Coach made us say he gonna call you afterwards. I'm my commitment has always been thinking about what you're doing because you're the one, like you said, you created your own table, and Jacob know how I am. That's all. I'm always about creating my own.
Gotcha. And I'm gonna tell you, and I know Jacob has been a real inspiration and help to me in a lot of ways while I was on this journey. And one of those things, he been on me and on me and on me about doing the JUCO Live podcast.
Mm-hmm.
JUCO Live is a documentary that I am trying to get off the ground, but I've been having issues with finding the right videographer. You know, all the every videographer that I've spoke to want to charge me anywhere from 8 to 20 grand
Mm.
to do this. And JUCO Live basically is similar to Last Chance U, but telling our story.
Yeah.
So we have our own documentary that we would like to start filming. And the beauty about this yes, there will be a lot of unscripted stuff, but there will be some scripted things, reenactments, some drama sales. There's some things that went down over the years that we will just kind of reenact to show people the hatred, the different things that went on while we were trying to lift up this program and others trying to tear us down and different things like that. I think that would be the nail in the coffin to some network would probably want to pick this up. But I got to find the right videographer that I don't mind sharing the wealth. I just need somebody to help me get this thing filmed, follow us around, do the different things. And if a network picks us up, man, I don't mind sharing that. We can do whatever, because I don't care about the money. I want the exposure from the program, you know. So and there's some other things that I got going on right now, and I like what you said about bringing kids on your show and trying to give them a platform. I have a new platform that I'm going to try to bring to the table that's going to help do that as well.
Okay. Awesome. Like I said, you got that you want to send over in your program, the interview, we take them all. The basketball, the football, I don't care if you about baseball, whatever. That's what this platform was built for us. I'll tell Jacob all the time is that, you know, sometimes we get to the point where we get I call our talking junk show episodes, which is cool, but we just kind of go back and banter, go back and forth. But I said this show wasn't built off of that, because every other platform does that. I said this show was built off of being able to interview these kids and these coaches and these programs to be able to get their story out. And you just never know who watching and may give a call and say, I see you on 910 Sports telling your story. How can I help? You know what I mean? And that's what this is about.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So, you know, I appreciate you coming on tonight, giving us your time or whatever. Like you said, you know, we always been here supporting you with, you know, for over the years. So, you know, we know where until the good Lord take us home. So, so we here for you. And, you know, we got the great coach that we brought on a couple of months ago. He finally got through his 10-day contract. So, you know, we I was going to kick him out like the Lakers tried to LeBron, but around, you know what I mean? But anyway, appreciate you coming over tonight.
Absolutely.
Thank you, man. I just wanted to say one last thing, man. If anybody would like to reach me, I want to give them my email. And that's Donald, DONALD Kingcade, KINGCADE @northwestu.edu. So that's Donald.Kingcade @northwestu.edu. Yes, email me, and I can gauge kids to the right program depending on what area they call me from.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Like I said, I appreciate you coming on, and you know, we're gonna keep building this thing with you and take it to the top. You know what I mean?
Thank you, guys. I appreciate you, man.
Wonderful night.
All right.
Absolutely.
All right.
Be blessed. We'll be talking.
Yes, sir. Gotcha.